Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 of this 3-part series of my build of MODEROID's obsolete Exoframe, the Toad, United States Marine Corps. If you remember, this kit was kindly given to me by Nick over at Grey Primer, a superb miniature figure painter, so go check out his channel, like and subscribe. So what we're going to be doing in this video is having a look at the acrylic work. So first off, the whole of the model was given a good clean with warm water and a old toothbrush, and then as you can see that was left to dry in a towel, and really just wanted to make sure that there were no grubby greasy finger marks on it at all, and that all the detail was still in place. And I was really pleased with how that had come up. And I thought for this one I was going to try a new type of primer. Not used it before, but heard lots of good things about it. So what I did first was just to take each section apart for ease of painting. And what I was going to do was just use some Tamiya tape on the joins so that they would fit snugly after the paintwork had been done. And what I was going to be using was Mr. Hobby Black, and I weakened that to a consistency of 1 lot of thinner to 3 lots of primer, and it went on beautifully. Really impressed with this stuff. And there we have a still of the Exoframe painted up with the black, and then it was given a coat of Vallejo dark aluminium, and then some hairspray from arm's length, a couple of coats of that. And then we used Mr. Hobby Grey Violet. Now once that was all dry, just get yourself an old brush and some water, and you can start chipping away. And as you can see, we got a nice contrast of 3 colours there already. And then I went for intermediate blue, again from Vallejo, to add another colour. And that was the final colour that was chipped again using the hairspray method. So all in all, really pleased with how that turned out. Then it was a matter of just doing all the detail painting, mainly blacks. All the wire work was done with red, and the tyre there, that was done with bark rubber. Again, these are all Vallejo acrylics. The brass sections, that's antique gold. And the central tyre there, that was done in dark rubber, but then given a coat of black as a wash. Can't quite see it there, but it's got a nice two-tone colour to it. So that was with the Exoframe done. So next I'll turn my attention to the actual armour itself, and again using the same consistency. This time I used grey, Mr. Surfacer 1000. Once that was dry, I then used the 3 burnt umber, dark rust, and applied this with the German Cam Brown with a brush. Now the key here is what we want to do is to build up texture as well as colour coverage. So what you need to do is to put this on neat. Don't thin it down in any shape or form, and that way you can, as I say, build up the texture on the plastic part. And what we're trying to do here is to create a rusty look, so that when we apply the top colour for chipping, again using the hairspray chipping method, then this colour will come through, and you'll have sort of 3 different tones of rust and chipping, and it's a very effective look. So make sure you get into all the nooks and crannies. Obviously you want to concentrate on the areas that are going to get the most battered and the most wear, i.e. on the edges and on the smaller parts. And once, what you need to do is you need to leave that to dry for 24 hours, and then apply again a couple of layers of hairspray, again at arm's length, so that you get a nice fine mist. And as you can see there, this is what it looks like once it's all been dry, and you can see how that texture has built up, and you've got a nice uneven armour-like type of surface. And again, similar was done with the actual head of the unit. and the actual armour pieces themselves. As for the inside of the armour, that was painted in hull red and given a wash of smoke, which created a lovely colour, which we'll see later. So once that's all done, like I said, with the hairspray, we used Mr. Hobby hemp, and that was given a fine coat all the way over. And again, once dry, with the chipping process began. I've been trying out new ways of doing the chipping, and using a scouring pad, and also I've got a couple of pens which have sort of fine metal threads in them as well, which does the same similar type of job. And you get a better type of chip doing it this way. You sort of get lots of little fine lines as well as the main chips as well. When you clean it up, be very careful, because you have opened up the paintwork, so don't go too mad, otherwise you'll take all the paint off. But as you can see there, I think the chipping looks a lot better than just normal hairspray chipping with a paintbrush. A lot more chipping was done on the extremities, like the feet and the armour. As for the gun, that was painted in burnt umber. And then what I did was to just add some putty. What I was trying to do was to create a sort of camouflage pattern. And again, that was covered in that Hobby Boss hemp. And then some fine detail painting. Again, it was just black on the magazine and black on the actual handle itself. Not fantastic, but it's not too bad. I was quite happy with it. As for the gloves, I wanted to have a bit of a leather look, so we used midstone on that, and some nice bright red and white colours, because I like brightness on my models. The back panel armour, that was fluorescent orange and just ordinary black stripes, and that was all done using tammy tape. Really pleased with how that all was heading. Now, we had a little bit of an issue with both of the arms, because you have to fit on the armour before you can paint it. And obviously what that means is that you would have a seam line. So what you need to do is to load the seam line up with glue and filler. Once dry, sand that all the way back, and then repaint it using the rust colours. And then in the same way as we did with the other armour, hairspray chipping with the hemp on top, and now you can see there's no join at all on the arm on the front or the back. So that was a bit of a result, so that came out really well. As for the lightsaber, just used some bright colours and some metallics. As for the head, very little was needed to be done here. Just added on some black onto the grenade launchers, and a little more of a close-up of that scratching, how well that's come out. And the feet, as I said before, they got heavy chipping for obvious reasons. The shoes again were just painted in dark rubber with a black wash on top. And another picture of the armour, and there's that inside colour, which is really nice. I was really pleased with how that turned out. So just to refresh, that's hull red with a smoke wash on top, all acrylics from Vallejo. So finally we have the rear armour, which was weathered chipping just with the sponge and the cam brown. And again, similarly with the gloves, and you can see that different colour stands out quite a lot. Now finally we'll look at the decals. Most of the decals I used were from the spares box. Once they all dry, I like to go over them with a very coarse file, very carefully, just to distress them a little bit and add a little bit of wear and tear. Very simple process. You don't have to do a great deal, but just to make it, give it that sort of lived-in look, as you can see there. And that's how that turned out. And that's all now ready for the oil work. And then finally, with the other decals, again from the spares drawer. Really, the decals that came with the kit aren't fantastic. I like a lot of bright colours, so these are the ones that I decided to go for. and pleased how that all turned out. So that's where we are. That's all done now. It's received a coat of matte varnish, and once that's dry we can start doing all the oil work and the major league weathering. So that just leaves me to say thanks very much indeed for popping in and having a look. Thank you for all my subscribers with all your continued support of my work, and happy modelling.